I'm in Princess Street Gardens, just by the Ross Bandstand, as you can see. So I'm doing another Burke and Hare related video today. So we're actually going to head along this way in a minute to St Cuthbert's graveyard. We've got a grave to find. Now, I am really clutching at straws with the connection to this one, but it is an important part of the story that often gets neglected. I'll say that. Right, we'll head to the graveyard, see if I can find the grave, and we'll go from there. So today we're dealing with the priests that were visiting Burke when he was in jail, and who also escorted him to the gallows as well. And there's a grave in here that's connected to one of these people. Um, so I've read reports that there were several ministers that visited him from different denominations. And I've got the names, they're all referenced. We've got Marshall, Porteous, Reed, Stewart, and Aikman. There are probably some others as well. Sorry, I'm just pausing because I've now entered the graveyard, so I'm keeping an eye out for the grave as well. So yeah, the grave I'm looking for is actually made from sandstone. Now I believe it's going to be very unlikely that there's going to be any writing left on it that's readable, but I do have an image of it that I can use as reference to find it. And then I'll go through who's there and, more importantly, who's not there. Because yeah, there was nobody in this grave connected to the story. Well, there sort of is, but there sort of isn't. Okay, I've got graves up there and I've got more this way. I'm going to go this way. Okay, well, there's a grave just along here that looks very much like it from this angle. So we're going to investigate that, and we'll see. We'll see if it matches the photo I've got, and then we'll go from there. I'll see if we can actually read anything on it. It does look very much like the photo, and it is sandstone. Oh, there is some writing on it. This will definitely, yes, this is the grave. So yes, as I was saying, one of the reverends that visited him was the Reverend James Marshall. Now he was minister of the Tolworth Church, and he was a Church of Scotland minister. Now Burke himself, well, I'm not entirely sure what his denomination was. He was a Catholic growing up. So a couple of priests that did visit him were Catholic. Porteous and Reed, I believe, were Catholic. But yeah, Reverend James Marshall. Right, we'll start off by saying he is not here. Okay, his wife and child are here, but because he owned the plot, his name is on it. Now he actually died in 1855 in Bristol, and he's actually buried in Clifton Parish Church burial ground. But the reason he is important to the story, as I said, there was ministers that joined Burke on the gallows, and this Reverend James Marshall is probably the last person ever to speak to Burke. Now there is a mention online of Burke's last words, or last known words, you should say, where he spoke to the executioner and he said, "The knot's behind," which was in reference to where they put the noose, knot in the noose around his neck. Because if they put it on the side, apparently it would have been an instant death, but because they did it at the back, it was prolonged and agony for Burke. Not that he didn't deserve it, but yeah. So that was his reported last words that are known. But after that, he had a conversation with Reverend James Marshall. We don't know what was said. It was probably something along the lines of redemption, or being in God's hand, or something like that. And I do believe Burke was absolutely bricking it by this point, if that's the correct terminology. I'm just going to step down off this wall. Yeah. So it's a little bit of yeah, it's clutching at straws, as I said. But yeah, the last person to speak to Burke before he died. His name is on this grave. His wife and daughter are in this grave, but he's buried in Bristol. Reverend James Marshall. Yeah, and just for just for fact's sake, I did tell you when he. I've just dropped my notes. Hang on. Here we go. I did tell you when he died. James Marshall. He was born 1796, died 1855. I'll put a picture of him up as well, or it'll be a painting, no doubt, back in that time. But yeah, a connection to the Burke and Hare story, although a tedious one. But yeah, he played an important part in the story. Um, Being the last person to speak to him, it's got to be noted. So then there you go. Um, yeah, and if you watch the first video I did about Burke and Hare, the graves in Dean Cemetery, this is the other grave I was referring to when I said in town. But yeah, um, there is nothing else I can say. I don't know what I'm going to do next for the Burke and Hare story. I will maybe just see where the wind blows me. But yeah, there's a few other locations to show you at some point. But for now, bye.